The Owl Princess, a Heroes of Olympus, Ancient Greece AU fanfic by Rachel Lesh. Book 1, Chapter 1. Each image has a caption on it, and that is to help you figure out where you are if you so wish to read along with this. I will put a link in the description to read the full story on Wattpad.
One more push, my lady. Ilithyia, midwife to the Athenian court, whispered gently to her mistress, Queen Athena. The Queen of Athens writhed in agony on the bed with her legs open, holding the hands of two maidservants. Ilithyia thought there was something poignant about seeing the great Athena in such a vulnerable and undignified position. Queen or slave, each woman has to go through the pains of Tartarus to bring forth new life into the world. After another push, the baby was born. Ilithyia wrapped it up in an old hymation and handed it over to Queen Athena. "She's beautiful," Queen Athena said as she looked at her new daughter. She had tried for too many years to have a child to be disappointed with a strong and healthy baby, even if it was not the longed-for son and heir. "Look at her shoulder," Ilithyia pointed out. On the baby girl's left shoulder was a wine-colored birthmark shaped like a spearhead. The spear is a symbol of the goddess of war and wisdom, Athens' patroness. Then she must have blessed the little princess. Queen Athena stroked the pale, fuzzy hair on her daughter's head. "I'll name her Annabeth, consecrated to the goddess who has shown favor." King Frederick burst into her chambers, eager to see his child. "My lord," Queen Athena called to her husband, "come meet our daughter." She held up little Annabeth so their father could see her.
Our little princess. King Frederick picked up the baby and kissed the top of her head. "Look at the mark on her shoulder. The goddess of war and wisdom has singled her out for something special. Our little girl will have a golden future. We'll arrange a splendid marriage for her when she grows up, and hopefully she'll have a nursery full of little brothers and sisters to play with. That is my dearest wish to you, my lord." Queen Athena was relieved that her lord husband was not disappointed or angry that she had given birth to a girl. Like her, he was grateful that the gods had given them a healthy child. But she knew that the next child had to be a boy. Annabeth could never inherit her father's throne. The lords of Athens would never accept a woman as their ruler. "Poor thing," Queen Athena whispered to her baby as she rocked her. "You weren't what was desired, but you are no less dear to me. A boy would belong to Athens, but you, little Annabeth, will belong to me. I see that you will be a beloved princess and a great queen." A month after the birth of Princess Annabeth, the Athenian court received word from Crete that King Poseidon and his wife, Queen Sally, now had a son and heir, a little boy named Perseus. "There's talk that Prince Perseus should marry our Annabeth," King Frederick explained to Queen Athena. "It's not a bad idea. The marriage would settle the dispute between Athens and Crete over the Aegean trade routes." "What dispute?" Queen Athena replied. "Athens has control of those trade routes, and everyone knows this. The Cretans are trespassers. Anyway, Annabeth is only a month old. Shouldn't we wait until she's walking and talking before we marry her off?" Their conversation was interrupted by 2 guards dragging a struggling girl into the Megaron. The girl was about 15, thin and pale with dark brown hair, a handsome, strong-featured face, and hazel eyes. She wore a dark blue chiton, woven with various symbols in silvery thread. The chiton was one-shouldered and revealing, with one of her breasts exposed, the type typically worn by porne and slaves. "We have found her, my lord," the first guard informed King Frederick. "She was in Aiaia, the largest of the brothels near the Agora." King Frederick got up from his chair and walked over to the girl. "Circe of House Helios," the king said, "you stand here accused of treason against the Polis of Athens and the kingdom of Attica." Circe stood in front of the king with a blank and defiant look on her face. "Frederick of House Chase," she sneered. "I took no part in my father's treason. He sold me off to a brothel to pay a debt. I cursed him and rejoiced that he is dead. He was no father to me." She fixed her gaze on Princess Annabeth, who was asleep in her mother's lap. "Would you sell off that precious little bundle to be raped repeatedly by strangers?" "You are the sole survivor of House Helios. Your father and brothers were killed in battle, and your mother took the coward's way out and killed herself. House Helios committed treason, and you're the only one left to receive the punishment. Would you make your daughter take the blame for your crimes? Silence! King Frederick gestured to his guards. Take this woman to the dungeon and prepare her for execution. The guards grabbed Circe and began to drag her away. Wait. In honor of my daughter's birth, I am inclined to be merciful. Bring her back to Aiaia and let her be a porne the rest of her miserable life. Circe swore, using language that would have made the drunken sailors and cart drivers who bedded her every night blush. She kicked the guards in their groins and tried to bite them. More guards had to be called in to restrain her and remove her from the Megaron. Are you certain that was wise? Queen Athena asked her husband. We need to make an example of House Helios, King Frederick explained. We need to show the other oikoi that disloyalty has severe consequences. House Helios is crushed. They can never threaten us again. Several days later, Aspasia, the woman who ran the brothel called Aiaia, informed King Frederick that the porne known as Circe Helios had escaped. Her last client was found stabbed and mutilated in her bed, his chlamys, petassos, and his pouch of coins stolen. With some of the coins, Circe paid for a boatman to bring her out to the island of Ogygia. She was exhausted from riding 7 miles on a purloined horse from Athens to Piraeus, the kingdom of Attica's main port, a trip which had taken only a quarter of an hour riding at a gallop. The island of Ogygia was situated at the mouth of Piraeus harbor. It first appeared as a long stretch of white sand and green forest on the horizons. Upon closer inspection, you saw that there were steep hills dotted with pine and olive trees and prickly shrubs. Circe was dropped off on the beach, from where she surveyed her new home. It did not look like much, but at least there she would be free. No father who only saw her as chattel to be sold off at his pleasure. No brothers who bullied her and looked down on her because she was a girl and they were men. No weak mother who was unwilling and unable to stick up for her. No sailors and cart drivers with their wine-sour breath who wanted to violate and debase her body. She could see a plume of smoke coming from the top of the highest hill and figured that someone there had a fire where she could warm herself and food they could share with her. The hike up the rocky hills was grueling. She had to climb up steep precipices and over bottomless chasms, and fight her way through flocks of wild goats and sheep. To keep herself going, Circe plotted schemes of revenge against King Frederick and House Chase. May all the gods be my witness, she swore. I will bring the Chases even lower than they have brought me. Their sweet little daughter will suffer for what they have done. At the top of the highest hill was a large cave that had been turned into a comfortable home. Its walls were hung with woven tapestries, sheep fleeces, and goat skins, dried herbs, and bundles of yarn. In one corner of the cave were a loom and distaff. In the mouth of the cave was a roaring fire over which hung a large cook-pot. Whatever was simmering in the pot, either goat meat or mutton, smelled delicious and taunted Circe with how hungry she was. "Hello?" Circe called. "Hello yourself," a low voice answered. A tall, thin woman walked out of the cave. She had a gaunt face with a crooked nose, small dark eyes, and long dark hair streaked with gray. "Can I help you?" "I would like to sit by your fire for a while, and maybe have some of whatever you're cooking. Here, make yourself comfortable." The woman took a sheep fleece from her cave wall and spread it on the ground for Circe to sit on. She then filled a bowl with goat meat stew and gave it to her. "Thank you. What is your name?" "Hecate, and you?" "Circe of House Helios." "What brings you here?" Hecate lent a sympathetic ear to Circe's whole story. "Hecate, I've heard of you. My father told me about a witch who was banished to an island. Guilty as charged, my dear. Could you teach me some of your magic?"